A burst of winter is on the way this week as a series of cold fronts moves across the southeastern states. Our current satellite imagery does show quite a bit of clear sky, some onshore showers for these southeastern states, but that will change from around tomorrow as the first in that series of fronts moves through. Taking a look at it in a little bit more detail, we can see how it moves across the Bight, slips to the south of Tasmania. Now it's followed by another front which has a much greater impact. This one reaches all the way up to Victoria and parts of New South Wales as well, bringing in some wetter and windier conditions. A brief easing around the Thursday mark before a third front moves across on Friday going into the weekend, bringing us some very cold and wintry conditions for next Saturday and Sunday. Taking a look at our winds at 850 hectopascals. Now, these winds are representative of the winds at alpine level, so about the mountaintop level, but they also give us a good indication of the strength of those wind gusts that could mix down to the surface. So keep an eye out in particular for the winds above 90 kilometres an hour. These are the damaging winds, so the oranges and reds. These have the potential to bring down trees and power lines and cause a bit of damage. We can see that the first front doesn't really have much of an impact, it just slips south, but this second front is quite windy, bringing these much stronger winds up across southern Victoria and also the alpine areas. We may see warnings issued, particularly about those alpine areas of Victoria and southern New South Wales through that Tuesday-Wednesday period, so make sure you're checking the Bureau's warnings page at that time. The front will continue to sweep through on Thursday though, again bringing us that brief break before the third front moves through. Much lighter winds expected, all greens and blues, but we still could see a little bit of a push into the weekend before that colder air moves in. Speaking of the colder air, let's take a look now at the temperatures above the surface. Again, this gives us a good indication of when the coldest conditions are going to move through, but it doesn't represent the temperatures at the surface. So first of all, the second front that's going to push up across Victoria is going to bring us a little bit of a burst of cold air, but it's not really going to push too far inland. We won't see that happening until the end of the week, when that third front brings a much broader, much colder air mass up across the southeastern parts of the country. So this is going to impact South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, New South Wales, even pushing into parts of southern Queensland as well, going into that later part of the weekend. We could see some pretty frosty mornings in the wake of this front extending all the way up the east coast. Unfortunately, the coldest air isn't quite happening at the same time as the rainfall. That means even though we're expecting pretty low snow levels at this part of the weekend, down to around 700 or 800 metres for Tasmania, around 1200 metres or so for the mainland, we may not see heaps of snow on the ground because the rainfall accumulations are going to be easing off at that time. So we see a bit of rain come through with the first and second fronts across western Tasmania and alpine parts of Victoria in particular. But as the third front comes through and brings in those lower snow levels and colder conditions, we only see the numbers pushing up just a little bit, implying that it's more likely to be a few flurries, a little bit on the ground, but nothing like the blanket we need for the start of a good snow season. So a lot going on this week across broad parts of the southeast. So keep up to date with all of the latest forecasts and warnings via our website and weather app. And we'll catch you next time.